Hi, I'm Jake, 31, and last month my girlfriend came home from a girls' weekend, wearing another man's engagement ring. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "We need to talk." I said, "No need," and had her belongings moved out before she could finish explaining how she got proposed to while still living in my apartment. Her fiancé didn't even know I existed. Yeah. Buckle up. Lisa and I had been together nearly 4 years. We'd lived together for most of that. The lease was always in my name, the apartment was always mine, I paid rent, she pitched in for groceries and utilities. Sounded fair since she was tackling student loans. We weren't perfect, but we were solid. At least I thought so. So when she told me she was going on a girls' trip, I didn't blink. She did these twice a year. Some college friends. Spa weekends, hikes, wine. Whatever. Friday morning, she kisses my cheek, says, "Love you, see you Sunday," and walks out the door with her roller bag. Sunday night, she walks back in and I know, instantly, something's off. She's glowing and red-eyed at the same time. Like she'd been sobbing, but in a happy way? Weird combo. But that wasn't even the part that hit me hardest. She dropped her bag, pulled off her coat, and I saw it. A massive, sparkling diamond on her ring finger. Not the ring. Not the promise ring I gave her 2 years ago. This was new. Big. Bold. Definitely an engagement ring. "What's on your hand?" I asked, pausing my game. She looked down like she forgot it was there. "Oh, we need to talk." "Yeah. I bet we do." I muted the TV. She sat down across from me and launched into the kind of monologue you only hear in bad breakup movies. She'd been seeing someone else. For 8 months. And he proposed this weekend. And she said yes. And she was sorry. But also, we'd grown apart, and it wasn't really cheating if we were drifting, right? I asked her one thing, "When's the wedding?" She blinked like I'd slapped her. "June." "Cool. You should go tell your parents. Big news like this deserves the family treatment." She was confused by how calm I was. Honestly, I was confused by it too. Inside, I was detonating. Outside? Ice. She went to bed in my bed. I stayed on the couch and didn't sleep a single damn minute. By Monday morning, she left for work and said she was going to her parents' house after. Perfect. I called my buddy Mark, who owns a moving company. Explained the situation. "Is this one of those burn it all down jobs or a classy exit?" "Classy but fast," I told him. He had guys by 2 p.m. By 5, every single thing Lisa owned, her desk, her books, her kitchen gadgets, the mismatched socks she insisted were quirky, was packed up in a labeled pod and delivered to her parents' driveway. I left a note. "Your stuff is in storage. 1 month prepaid. Unit code is your birthday. Congrats on the engagement. Jake." At 6 p.m., the locksmith came. Changed the locks. I offered him a beer, he declined, but patted my shoulder like I was a soldier returning from war. By 8 p.m., my phone blew up. Her, "Why is all my stuff at my parents' house?" Her, "Did you change the locks? You can't do this." Her, "I live there." Her, "I'm coming over. You better answer." I muted everything and ordered Thai. The doorbell rang at 9:30. Then pounding. Then her voice. "You can't just throw me out. I have tenant rights." I didn't open the door. "You're not on the lease. You've been cheating on me for 8 months and now you're engaged. You got your fairy tale. Go live it." More yelling. Then her mom's voice. "Young man, open this door right now. My daughter has rights." I responded through the wood. "Ma'am, your daughter has a fiancé. Maybe she should stay with him." Eventually, they left. What I didn't expect. The fiancé called me later that night. "Is this Jake?" he asked. "I think we need to talk." "Oh, buddy, we really did." We met at a coffee shop the next afternoon. Neutral ground. Public. I wasn't sure if he was going to try to swing at me or cry. Honestly, I was open to either at that point. He walked in, suit, tired eyes, holding a paper cup like it was the only thing anchoring him to reality. His name was Daniel. Good handshake. Firm. But his whole body looked like it wanted to fold inward. "She told me you were her ex," he said, sitting down across from me. "Yeah? She told me you didn't exist." Silence. He nodded like it hurt, but made sense. "She said you'd broken up? That you were roommates for a bit after but it ended amicably? She said you were gay?" I choked on my coffee. "She told you I was her gay ex?" He laughed. Bitter. Embarrassed. I didn't question it. She was convincing. Always had answers. Yeah. Like a quiz show host who also works for the CIA. We started comparing timelines. It was like watching two parallel universes collapse into each other. She told me she was going on a work retreat. He said. Yeah? That was the girl's weekend. She told me you were her cousin when your name popped up on her phone. She told me you were her coworker. The one with the weird dog. He blinked. I don't even own a dog. She's creative. I shrugged. Turns out, she'd been building this double life with the precision of a Navy SEAL and the energy of a scam artist with 3 passports. The nights she stayed with him, she told me she had late meetings. When she was with me, she said she was tired from work or stressed about her promotion. That, spoiler alert, never existed. She had 2 toothbrushes. 2 sets of routines. 2 wardrobes. I found out later she had a second phone. Like, a whole second phone. Daniel rubbed his eyes. I was going to buy us a condo, he said. We were looking at places. I stared at him. Man, she's been living rent-free in my apartment, while designing her new life with you. That's bold. I feel sick. You should. To his credit, he didn't make excuses. Didn't try to blame me. He just sat there, absorbing the disaster of it all. I'm sorry, he said finally. You didn't deserve any of this. Neither did you. We parted on, not friendly terms, but weirdly respectful ones. Trauma bonding through betrayal, I guess. Then came the fallout. Her mom called the next day, voice tight with judgment. You need to let her back into the apartment to get the rest of her belongings. She has all of her belongings, I replied calmly. In a storage unit I paid for. 1 month. Already told her. She says you kept her grandmother's jewelry. She also said I was her gay cousin, so maybe don't put too much stock in what she says. Click. Then her sister showed up at my door. She didn't even say hi. Just stood on my front step like a PTA mom who was ready to fight. You traumatized her, she snapped. She cheated on me for 8 months. She made a mistake. No. She made several decisions. Repeatedly. For almost a year. That's not a mistake. That's a strategy. She's crying every day. She can use her engagement ring to dry the tears. She wants to come get more of her things. I documented everything before the movers came. It's all in the pod. She wants more, she'll need to define what that is. Her sister stared at me like I was a malfunctioning robot. I stared back like she was interrupting my sandwich. She left muttering something about me being a cold-hearted bastard. Not wrong. Then came the unexpected twist. Her best friend, the one she was supposedly with on girls' weekend, texted me. Hey. I feel awful. Can we talk? I said sure. We met at another coffee shop. I should get frequent flyer miles for my emotional damage tours. I didn't know, she said. I swear. She told me she was planning a surprise for your birthday. That's why she needed me to say we were together. My birthday's in February. It's October. I know, she said, facepalm and all. She used me. I'm so sorry. For the first time in this mess, anyone, acknowledged the insanity of what had happened. No spin. No excuses. Just truth. She said you overreacted. She added. Said you were petty? Petty is changing the Netflix password. I changed the locks. That's closure. We shared a laugh. A real one. She said. I don't think we're friends anymore. Welcome to the club. So here's where everything blew up, for real this time. Not just relationship ending, but life-altering, reputation-demolishing, scorched earth-style blow-up. 3 days after my little coffee chat with her now former best friend, I got a call from Daniel again, the fiancé. Ex-fiancé now. She told me everything, he said, voice ragged. I called off the engagement. I leaned back in my chair, processing the sentence like it came from a slow-motion movie scene. You sure? I asked. Absolutely. I wanted to believe she was just confused. Caught up. But it's lies on top of lies. She never told her parents about me either. Said she did, but apparently they thought we were coworkers. She never planned to move in. She never planned anything. It was all just make-believe. What did she say when you ended it? She screamed. He said quietly. Accused me of ruining her life. I sighed. That's her go-to. But that's when it really started spiraling. Because now, the dominoes began to fall outside just our triangle. Turns out, Lisa's fiancé's mother was in the same charity committee as Lisa's mom. And the story spread like wildfire. Cheated on her live-in boyfriend and got engaged to another man who didn't even know about him. Those kinds of stories stick, especially in tight social circles with a taste for drama and passive-aggressive dessert buffets. Lisa's carefully curated image? Cracked. But Lisa didn't go quietly into that good night. No, she went full scorched earth campaign, against me. First came the 17 missed calls in one day. I let them all go to voicemail. The messages were a carousel of emotions. I'm sorry. I was confused. You don't understand what it's like to feel unloved. I was going to choose you. You ruined my life. We were meant to be together, and you threw it away. That one made me choke on my lunch. Then came the accusations. She called her dad and told him I'd been emotionally abusive. That I'd manipulated her into staying. That I'd isolated her. Her dad called me in full dad rage mode. What the hell did you do to my daughter? I calmly replied. Sir, you might want to ask your daughter why she was living with me while secretly dating someone else and accepting an engagement ring behind my back. He paused. I heard it, the moment his doubt kicked in. Click. Next came the police. Yep. She showed up at my place with a cop in tow. Said she was requesting a civil standby to retrieve the valuable items I stole. The officer asked for details. I showed him the photos, the inventory, the moving contract, the receipt for the storage unit, the note I left on the box labeled jewelry. She stammered something about sentimental items I'd hidden. The officer gave her the same look I gave expired milk. Ma'am, he returned your property. There's nothing more to retrieve. They left. Her fury? Nuclear. And she still wasn't done. She tried a new angle, my reputation. She reached out to my younger brother's girlfriend, told her I had anger issues. Said I'd thrown a lamp once and punched a hole in the wall. That I had unresolved aggression problems. Problem is, my brother knows me. Knew about everything from the start. He called me. Dude, she's trying to tank your whole life. She can try, I said. Just make sure your girlfriend doesn't believe her. She doesn't. She said your vibe is more sad podcast than serial killer. Fair enough. Then came her next move, Venmo. She sent me a request for $14,000 labeled back rent and emotional damage. $14,000. I declined the request with a one-word reply. LOL. No. She doubled down. Sent a second request. This time, I replied with a screenshot of our shared expenses spreadsheet, which I'd kept updated monthly for budgeting. Her rent contribution? 0. My records for groceries and utilities paid? Thorough. Venmo receipts? All there. Next day, her mom called. Soft voice now. A complete 180. You know, she's really struggling. She lost everything. She lost what she tried to juggle. That's different. She made a mistake. No, she made a series of calculated choices and got caught. That's not a mistake. That's a lifestyle. She's heartbroken. She's homeless because she got engaged while living with someone else. I didn't throw her out. I just stopped letting her lie inside my apartment. Her mom got quiet. You've changed, she said finally. No, I said. I just stopped being the free trial version of myself. She hung up. At this point, I figured I'd seen it all. But nope. Lisa made one last move. She showed up at my office. Told the front desk there was a family emergency. The receptionist knew better. I'd filled her in weeks ago. She called me upstairs. There's a woman here claiming to be your sister. Says you need to come down. I don't have a sister. That's my ex. Receptionist, bless her, walked back and loudly said, Ma'am, he says he has no sister. And he doesn't want to see you. Security escorted her out while she screamed that I was destroying her life. She was right. I was just a mirror. She built the destruction herself. So, after the office ambush and the full public meltdown in our lobby, which became a minor legend in the break room, by the way, I figured we were finally done. I was wrong. Because just when I thought the fire had burned out, she found kerosene. Let me rewind just a second, because what happened next didn't start with her. It started with her ex-fiancé's mom. Remember Daniel? Finance guy, nice watch, dead inside? Yeah, well his mother is apparently a force of nature. Think Gossip Girl, Meets small-town queen bee with a legal background and no chill. She found out the entire story, and decided the truth needed to travel faster than the lies had. And by truth I mean, my son's ex-fiancé was living with her boyfriend of 4 years while accepting my family's heirloom engagement ring and pretending he didn't exist. Apparently, the ring was vintage. Family history. One of those passed down for generations types. And Lisa had the audacity to tell them she lost it. She didn't. She pawned it. Yeah. Pawned. The ring. Daniel's mom found out when she contacted the jeweler to get it resized for a new heirloom setting, and the jeweler told her it had been sold for cash 3 days after the proposal. Boom. It was over for Lisa. Suddenly, everyone knew. Not just family. Not just friends. Work knew. Daniel worked in fintech. Lisa was in a tech-adjacent role at another company, but guess what? Same conference circles. Same happy hours. Same LinkedIn ecosystem. And once the ring story hit a few inboxes, it was done. Recruiters ghosted her. Her company put her on leave for mental health reasons. It sounded supportive, but anyone who's ever worked corporate knew what that really meant. She resigned 2 weeks later. The best part? I had nothing to do with any of it. I didn't tell anyone outside my circle. Didn't post online. Didn't revenge blast her on Reddit or Twitter. Well, until now. Hi. I just existed. And the universe, with its twisted sense of justice, did the rest. Meanwhile, my apartment felt like a haunted museum of bad decisions. Even though I'd cleared out all her stuff and rearranged everything, I kept walking into rooms expecting to smell her shampoo or hear her humming while brushing her teeth. So I deep cleaned. Like exorcism-level cleaning. Scrubbed walls. Steam-cleaned carpets. Replaced my sheets, towels, pillows, even the damn dish sponge. I moved the couch, got a new comforter, and threw out the fake eucalyptus she loved. That thing always made my throat itch anyway. Then I booked a therapy session. Not because I was falling apart, but because I didn't trust myself anymore. I didn't trust that I could live with someone for 4 years and miss every sign. My therapist said something that stuck. You weren't stupid. You were trusting. And she was skilled at staying hidden. That's not on you. I think I needed to hear that more than I realized. Week 4, the storage unit's month ran out. I got a call from the company. Just confirming, the unit's contents were picked up by a Patricia Morgan. Lisa's mom. Good. No contact. No drama. Just gone. Then, out of nowhere, I got a handwritten letter from Lisa's dad. Not an email. Not a voicemail. An actual envelope with a stamp and his careful, old man cursive on lined notebook paper. He apologized. Said he was ashamed for accusing me of mistreating his daughter. Said that after everything came out, she admitted to lying about almost every part of the story. That she'd spun a web she couldn't control. And that she was trying to make sense of who she was. He wrote, You deserved honesty. My daughter took advantage of your kindness, and I'm deeply sorry for how we treated you. I didn't write back. Didn't feel like there was anything to say. But I folded that letter and put it in a drawer. Because, I don't know. Sometimes people do surprise you. And then came the email. Lisa had finally figured out that I'd blocked her everywhere else. So she resorted to email. Long message. Full of phrases like, I was lost. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I hope someday you can understand. I still think about us. I wish I'd done it all differently. I read it once. Didn't respond. Because here's what I've realized. Understanding doesn't require forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't require reconnection. I understand exactly what happened. She wanted it all. She wanted safety, excitement, stability, romance, the past and the future, and 2 lives on parallel tracks. But juggling doesn't last forever. Eventually, something drops. She dropped everything. I just picked up what I needed, changed the locks, and walked away. 3 weeks after Lisa's last desperate email, I started to feel like I could breathe again. Really breathe, not just the shallow, tight-chested version I'd been doing since the night she walked in with that ring. The silence was peaceful now, not heavy. My evenings were mine again. No tiptoeing around moods, no calculating if I should bring something up or let it slide. Just me, my playlist, my dogged paperbacks, and my growing ability to not second-guess every damn thing. Until Tuesday. That's when Daniel texted me out of the blue. Hope you're doing okay. Just wanted to say thanks again. Starting to date again. Life moves on. I stared at the message for a minute, feeling a weird mix of relief and respect. Same here. I typed. Glad you're doing alright. No hard feelings. We both got lied to. That's not on us. He liked the message. And just like that, the other man in the triangle was out of my life. For good. Closure comes in the weirdest forms. Meanwhile, back in reality, my social circle had gone through a weird phase too. For the first couple of weeks, everyone had opinions. Half my friends were like, "Dude, you handled that like a pro." The other half were waiting for me to snap, cry, or get drunk and punch a mailbox. I did none of those things. Okay. I did get drunk. But only once. And the mailbox was untouched. Honestly, the weirdest thing I felt was this hollow gratitude that it had all happened now and not, say, a year later. What if we'd gotten married? What if there were kids in the mix? A mortgage? A messy entanglement of finances and shared holidays? Instead, she walked out wearing another man's ring, and I got to walk away with my credit intact, my apartment still mine, and a storage pod full of drama removed from my life in under 48 hours. I started noticing little things again. The smell of my favorite coffee. Sunlight on my kitchen counter in the mornings. How clean everything stayed when you're not cohabiting with chaos. Therapy helped. Not just with unpacking the lies, but with the rebuilding. Like learning to trust myself again. Not everyone else. Me. One session, my therapist asked, "Do you think you ignored red flags?" I paused. No. I think I was never shown them. She nodded. Then maybe the work now is making peace with the fact that even healthy instincts can be tricked by practiced deception. Yeah. That hit. A few people asked if I was going to get back out there. Dating apps, parties? A rebound to shake it off. I tried the apps. Swiped a little. Went on one date. She was nice. Kind. But when she said she'd been cheated on too, we both just kind of sat there. Staring at our drinks. Too soon. I'm not bitter. Just not ready. That's when I realized I wasn't healing from heartbreak. I was healing from being used. That's a whole different kind of recovery. Because love ending? That happens. But being a placeholder in someone else's double life? That gets in your bones. Still, the pain faded. Slowly. Like a bruise that stops aching even though you can still see the shape. And with each day, the feeling of clarity grew louder than the memory of her voice. She'd played a game. A complicated one, with multiple players and secret rules. She wanted to be adored by everyone while telling no one the full truth. And I just stepped off the board. It's been just over 2 months since she came home wearing someone else's ring. Feels like a year. Feels like yesterday. Time gets weird when your whole reality cracks and resets overnight. The apartment's quiet now, but not heavy quiet. Peaceful. I don't flinch when I hear keys at the door. I don't brace myself for explanations or fights that spiral into silence. It's just me, finally me, in my own space again. I got new sheets. New dishes. A new shower curtain. I replaced the little things she left behind, things she probably never even noticed. The mug with her chipped lipstick mark. The throw blanket she always wrapped around herself but never folded. Gone. Not out of spite. Just reclaiming the space. Lisa never reached out again after the email. Well, she didn't. But I got one last message. From her dad. Another letter. This one longer than the first. He wrote about how ashamed he felt for defending her at first. How, once everything came to light, they had a long, brutal conversation as a family. That she'd been lying to them for a while. Not just about me and Daniel, but about other things. Jobs. Friends. Even money. She's not well, he wrote. We love her, but we're trying to help her get honest. Thank you for being kind when she didn't deserve it. That line stuck with me. I didn't feel kind. I felt surgical. Cold. Efficient. But maybe kindness isn't always about softness. Sometimes it's just not stooping to their level. Not burning it all down when you could. Just walking away. Last week, I finally took a trip I'd been putting off. Drove out of the city into the woods. Stayed in a cabin with spotty Wi-Fi and a fire pit. I brought a journal and a bottle of something strong, and the intent to feel something. And I did. I felt relief. Relief that I got out before I gave her more. Relief that she didn't take anything from me that I couldn't rebuild. And most of all, relief that I chose myself when it would have been so easy to spiral. You know, there's this pressure, especially on guys, to play it cool. Shake it off. Pretend betrayal's just a thing you get over. But this wasn't a breakup. This was a long con with my heart as collateral. And I'm not ashamed to say it shook me. But it didn't break me. These days I sleep better. I smile easier. I trust slower, but I do still trust. I'm not closing off. I'm just watching more carefully. And if I ever do meet someone new, she's going to get a version of me that's sharper. Wiser. Still kind. But no longer willing to accept being someone's backup plan, security blanket, or convenient lie. Lisa wanted to live 2 lives. I'm finally living one, and it's mine. So yeah? She left wearing another man's ring. I stayed, and changed the locks. Guess who's doing better? Thanks for listening. Jake.